Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1507 of our daily content grind. It is a Monday. That means it's time for a news roundup. I'm also noticing how badly my lighting is at the moment. I don't know what is up with this. This worked before. I'll fix that later. Point being, I'm just going to look terrible until I can get that fixed. But we have news to talk about, and it starts with something pretty big. We have a ton of news this week, by the way. I'm going to go through some of it very quickly. You can go to TFW 2005 and see the rest of it for yourself. But the biggest thing I think happened in last week is the announcement that there might be a Skybound animated series on the way. So from Dateline, we have Robert Kirkman's Skybound Entertainment has teamed with Hasbro Entertainment to produce Energon Universe, an adult animated series based on the comics of the same name created by Kirkman. Joe Henderson of Lucifer is attached to writing the adaptation, serves as a showrunner for the series, an epic crossover of G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals mythology, which is expected to be taken out to buyers shortly. So, to do all three in one series seems a little bit over the top. I feel like this is mostly going to focus on the Transformers side of things. And I'm really curious as to how that animation would even work, because the designs in Skybound are so detailed because of the battle damage. I feel like doing that in traditional animation, while possible, would be exceptionally expensive. Hasbro would have to be churning out a lot of money to make that happen, unless they're just undoing a lot of those details, just going with like static designs, which is also entirely possible. You could do it with CG as well, but I really don't think CG would convey the brutality of this series very well. We will see. It's all up in the air. It says that they're going to be taking it to buyers shortly, meaning they haven't gotten anyone to pick it up yet. That's the important thing. Someone actually has to see this, see the stories, and go, yeah, I'm going to put some money into this. Which, given the results of, the previous cartoon, EarthSpark, as well as the last few movies, that might actually be harder than you'd think. So we'll sit back and see how this develops. But the idea of getting a adult-focused Transformers cartoon is actually really, really exciting. So we do have a lot of things that got shown off, but we're going to start with a bunch of MCM London reveals. And that is going to include the next 2-pack for the Timeline series, which is going to be Bumblebee and Megatron in the feudal Japan setting. So, okay. You have Megatron with Oni designs as a warthog, and you have Bumblebee with ninja designs as a flying squirrel. Now, I couldn't find the pictures to really show off that flying squirrel mode, but I'm going to tell you right now, that Bumblebee does not transform much. That is a very, very low effort transformation on that Bumblebee, and it does disappoint me because I like the idea. I like the idea of him being like a little ninja character. I like the idea of him being a flying squirrel, because it plays on the mythology of ninjas using kites to infiltrate enemies and drop bombs. Not historically accurate, by the way. I don't know, but the toy seems like it's going to be a letdown, which is upsetting because his last toy, I feel, was the letdown of like the previous set, the Hearts of Steel set. But the Megatron looks interesting. We'll get to that in a bit. They also showed off the first physical prototypes for Onslaught, showing him in robot mode what his base mode looks like, which you can absolutely just see the Bruticus crotch right there. No hiding that. But also little touches like the fact that the front of the truck can come apart from the extended rear. So you can have the G1 accurate long truck, or you can just have him as like a more normal truck. That's actually cool. And it is just the truck that transforms into the robot, which does look pretty good. And it is big enough for one of the deluxes to ride in the back. That's actually a pretty important detail to include. And we are with the upcoming Blast Off and Brawl and Thundercracker. We'll get to all of them here in a minute. He does come in a little bit shorter than Optimus Prime, but that does mean he's going to be scaled to Silverbolt, so that makes sense. Yeah, it's nice to see the first look at it. There's your flying squirrel Bumblebee, a little bit closer up. Yeah, is there a shot of him from the underside? Hopefully so. Yeah, you can see and get an idea of how Megatron transforms. I do like how he looks. Like him as an Oni works. All right, and yeah, here's your flying squirrel. There's a face detail. There he is on the underside, and this is, you know, what I mean. You know, like the squirrel tail is just his legs come together. You can see his robot arms right there. That's pretty much how the wings look in robot mode. Like he's really, really unsubstantial transformation wise. I don't know, maybe there's some other tricks in there that I'm missing, but like he looks like he's not going to be like engaging as a transformer. Still fine as an action figure though. Still fine as a toy. Let's see, was there anything else really shown off? Yeah, more of Onslaught, still looking good. Lots of detail shots there. The truck trailer actually rotates. Cool. Okay, and what else do we have? So there's other in-hand shots. So a lot of these brown backgrounds you're going to see are from Toys R Us, who, as far as I can tell, is on the level with Hasbro. He just gets to borrow these for a bit, and then, you know, so as a basically an official review. But yeah, as far as I can tell, he's fine. So we're not criticizing him, and we have a lot of photos from his videos. Yeah, the Megatron still continues to look good. I don't think we need to go in too far on him outside of just size comparison stuff. So he's going to come up a little bit shorter. And the timelines ones have been a little bit small for the deluxes. See, we also have shots in hand for Big Convoy, showing that he is just a little bit smaller in beast mode. And then I believe in robot mode, considerably smaller. You can see the difference in their cannon modes. They both have them though. That's cool to see. There's all your size comparisons. Robot mode. Yep, everything you would expect. Everything, it comes with a Big Convoy. We've seen him a lot, so I'm not going to focus too much on it. The ones I like here are the size comparisons. Yeah, as you can see, he is quite a bit smaller than the original. A little bit disappointing, but, you know, not really a surprise either. What's frustrating is that he is going to be like Voyager Plus. You can see there that he does not have like the height of a leader class toy. He's mostly going to get by on just like, he's a very bulky part heavy figure, which, yeah, you see how many parts of that mammoth are hanging off of him. Yeah, you would understand that. Also, no cannon in those shots, which takes up like a huge chunk of his mass too. See, we also have in hand for Brawl. I don't know if this is actually his foot mode or if this is fan moded in. The instructions that he came with for the reviewer do not include instructions for the leg mode. That comes with the Commander class toy. So I don't know if this is official or not. But there you see, that's where the ankle tilt works. That extra bit of engineering is why he is a Voyager. And it's also important to note, there's no ratchet joints in the toy. So take that for what it is. He does come up a little bit taller than Vortex here, so it's not completely unfounded for him to be a Voyager class toy. He does have a lot more bulk to him, and he does look like he has a pretty involved transformation to get that tank into that robot. It's cool to see because, you know, let's see, can we get this? Can we get the robot size? We'll get the robot comparison, please. Yeah, so like it's cool to see because Brawl really ends up on the short end of the stick every time he comes out. He always feels like the worst of the Combaticons as a toy. I am happy to see that he's getting what looks to be a very, very good figure. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I will give him a chance. All right, Sure Shot, or Sure Shot on the way. We've seen plenty of him as well. You get comparisons between their Target Masters, which you can tell are very different. The Target Master just kind of feels like I can't remember how the Target Masters look, but if you told me that was just repainted from somebody else's, I would believe you. Yeah, he looks fine. Looks fine. We've seen plenty of pictures of him. I think the best thing is just a comparison to his G1 figure, which is great to see. Just like the color arrangement, everything is so exact to the original. It really does come across as just a really nice upgrade of the first toy. See, and moving on from there, we've got more for Blastoff. Again, Blastoff looking a little bit chunky for a deluxe, but he is labeled as a deluxe, so good to see. Yeah, it's a much nicer looking vehicle mode than he's gotten in the past. I think it's hysterical that we're comparing him to the first Combiner War release, not the second where it actually was a shuttle. But yeah, like vehicle mode, he is deceptively huge. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. He comes up a little bit taller than the original Combiner War toy as well, which I don't know. Like I feel like with the budgets going up and the pricing going up, that's a very important distinction to make. Like, yeah, this is a little bit bigger than you'd expect it to be, which is nice. Yeah, still looking like it's going to be a pretty good toy even on its own. All right, now we go to Windcharger. Yeah, not a whole lot of new, I can say, with Windcharger here. It looks like he's going to have a fairly simplified mode where a lot of that kibble ends up folding into the legs. I actually just got Studio Series Widowmaker, and she has kind of a similar thing going on with her leg transformation, where the entire top of that car just folds up into the legs. It's very Viacon in approach, but hey, don't argue the results. It works. It makes a show accurate Windcharger. See, can we get a comparison to another deluxe? Because he's supposed to be a mini bot, so he should be a little bit smaller. No, doesn't look like it. Interesting. That's a little bit of an oversight. Still, he is looking pretty good. Pretty solid little guy. Quintus. Oh, never ends. Never ends. There's so many new photos. Quintus has been the weirdest one to try to imagine how he works, just with like all the tendrils and the legs, and you know, if he even has legs. You know, it took a while to get photos to confirm. Yes, legs. There's the Emberstone. There's the legs without the skirt. They are all translucent plastic. It terrifies me. But they do hide and blend in well with the tendrils. I give it credit for that. You know, that it actually just kind of looks like it blends in with what he's got going on down there. Yeah, looking pretty good. Yeah, it's like the big tendril spaceship. It is very quintessent, isn't it? It does feel like something the Quintessence would fly. So, like, I do like the vehicle mode in that. Yeah, it just looks like all that transformation is going to be upper body. All of it. So, look like nothing's going on with the legs at all. Still, cool design. Looking forward to adding to the 13. Okay, how about Thundercracker now? I believe this is the last art gallery I have for Toys R Us. So Thundercracker is very, very good looking. Opening cockpit, landing gear is there. Very, very clean. He doesn't have the greeble that a lot of the recent toys have had. The one thing that always worries me when a new toy is coming up is how much it's going to shrink from previous toys. As you can see here, he hasn't. He's actually about the same size as the previous Voyager class Seekers. You can also kind of see how he gets away with the, how the mold gets away with having a good looking robot mode chest. They have actually like shortened the length of the cockpit. So that's the kind of the visual trick. It's not an accurate cockpit size like the real jet anymore. But hey, like I wouldn't notice it if you didn't put it side by side with the previous Starscream mold. And then the robot mode is just nice. Oh my god, it looks so clean. It looks so good. Like when my only issue I can even find is the fact that I wish the mushroom pegs were on the sides rather than showing through the front. That's literally the only thing I can say against this thing so far. I know some people are annoyed that the tail fins have to part form up to the wings, but I feel like any armature that you could create to make that a like air quote real transformation step would have pushed this toy's budget a little bit too far. But also it part forms, like you don't have to take it off of the legs. That's toy accurate. You just take them off if you want to, like said there, and it clips onto the back, and that gives him a very, very much a look of the 2.0 Masterpiece Starscream mold. There's the surprising one. Not only does he not lose any height from Starscream, not only does not lose any size from the previous mold, he's actually a little bit taller. That's fascinating to me. So yeah, it looks like every aspect of this is an upgrade from the previous Seeker mold. Like, I'm thoroughly happy with this. Like, even the arm-leg proportion, even that all looks really, really good. I don't want to buy a whole nother set of Seekers. I spent so much collecting the last set of Seekers, but it looks so good, and it fixes all the problems I had with previous Seekers. One more gallery for you. This is not Toys R Us. This is from an actual toy thief, but we can reap the benefits of his efforts. So, Studio Series 86 Soundwave in-hand gallery. Still looking really, really solid. Yeah, it's nice to show off a toy when it isn't missing a part, Hasbro. I'm just saying. I do like the comparison to the backside to show that, like, even the backside, it does have, like, as many accurate details as they can work in. You can even see where the backside of his legs do have the knobs that you see on the back of Soundwaves. They're not painted, unfortunately, but they are there. Yeah, the rest of the silhouette's correct. Yeah, it's a really, really cool job. Like, yeah, more so than the Netflix. The Netflix did not do nearly as good of a job on the backside. Yeah, it just looks ideal, right? Like, it just looks like everything you want out of a Soundwave toy. Outside of, like, if you are going to go on about color scheme, because, yeah, like, I do feel like it's not entirely cartoon accurate, even though this is 86 release. There we go with the new molds, new mold Buzzsaw, and here you can tell the head is a little bit truncated to fit the size, but believe it or not, like those triangle wings, completely cartoon accurate. That's how they're supposed to look. And I can kind of like notice that the head has been shrunken a little bit on these, but I don't think they look bad. I do think it still looks good overall. And then, okay, yeah, and then Laserbeak proved me wrong with the wing shape. Hey, I've seen those triangle wings in the animation. I'm just saying. Ravage is the letdown. Like, I don't think Ravage looks bad other than the placement of those rockets. Like, that looks really super awkward. That's unfortunate. But everything else, like the Ravage does not look bad either. I mean, maybe the tape mode. The tape mode is a little bit rough. We do what we must. We do what we must. Still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good. Yeah, I'll give it this. I like the proportions on the Ravage a lot better than the previous one. Like those big, heavy upper legs. That doesn't work for me. So we take the good with the bad. And yeah, the toy just looks like it's just fully featured, really, really solid. Don't Photoshop in stuff on top. That looks so bad. That looks lame. Yeah, and the most important thing, scales with blaster. So, cartoon accuracy for you. Now, as long as we're on with the toys and upcoming stuff, God, this is such a long video. It's a very long news roundup. Let me go ahead and share with you a few things that came out from Toys R Us, who did an interview with Evan. I believe this was at the London show, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't have a proper slide for this. You're just going to have to stare at Evan for a little bit. So, the highlights to take away. 86 wheelie will happen, probably a new head. So if you don't like that deco for the retro G1, hold off on it for now. They will be releasing the proper wheelie. One combiner a year in the future. So yeah, right now we are working on the start of the Combaticons. We just finished the aerial bots. So probably by the end of this current, like 2026 Age of the Primes line, we'll have the new one trickling in. We'll find out like what the next combiner is going to be, but that's the plan. One combiner a year. I can get behind that. Groove, if and when they make Defensor, is going to be a limb. He's not going to be shrunken down or anything this time. We can expect a Ruination. They don't know which repaint they'll do first, but they are going to be doing a Ruination within the next few years. That's exciting. They hope that timelines can become a fan-driven line with votes on the themes, which would be really cool, and it would make a better connection to that line. I think doing one line that's based on existing designs and one line that is just their own original interpretations really helps get that visual across, that we can go do something that Transformers previously did from other periods, or we can come up with something of our own. I do like that dichotomy. And they did. Levin also mentioned that if Timeline does well, they can do more in the main line with those particular sets. So, you know, fingers crossed, Hearts of Steel fans, if you want anything else from there. They're trying to transition from Greeble to no Greeble, which is why Thundercracker looks so clean and why Megatron has so little of it, which probably means that if there's a toy out there that is like heavily Greebled, but that's still the definitive, like the version of that character right now, they will most likely do something about that and perhaps release a second version. They did confirm that if they took away from one size class, it does allow them to do more with another size class. So it's kind of like the entire like waves or line is budgeted somehow. So like Evan even suggests that if they did not do a commander one year, they might get a full extra set of deluxes out. That's interesting. They want to do throttle bots, which is good to hear. We have absolutely no throttle bot representation lately. And he did mention that Throttlebot heads might be on the 86B mold, which is a good starting place for a lot of them. I feel like you could take the engineering structure of 86 Bumblebee and you could use that for a few of those Throttlebots. Not all of them, though. Not all of them. And they would all have to just be like the engineering skeleton. Like everything else would have to be retooled. I don't want to just have like Bumblebees with new heads and those are your Throttlebots. We can expect Skybound characters in the future. He does mention Shredhead, for instance. No surprise there. They've been pushing Shredhead a lot. Maybe redo G1 Crosshairs. Yeah, because everyone else has gotten, like, we just saw with Sure Shot. Like, all the other Target Masters have gotten these really nice new toys. And then Crosshairs is still just an Ironhide with a new head. Can we please fix that? Maybe a breakdown reissue in the future, and they in general say that tell them if a figure has been hard to get because they are capable of reissuing things, but they have to know what has been hard to find. EarthSpark, Soundwave. How many times can we scream that? I don't care if you're not even into EarthSpark. That toy is amazing. So there you go. There's your updates from Evan. It's cool to see. But as long as we're talking about staff, we have a return, and this is a major one. Eric Siebenaler is returning to the Transformer design team. He'll be working alongside Mark to create the Generations line from here on out. And he has mentioned that he wants to go back and play with some of his old designs again, which is exciting because this is the guy who was working on Transformer designs in the 2000s, meaning that he was involved in the Unicron trilogy. His name is attached to some of my favorite toys of all time, and he is one of the major reasons why the animated line works so well. We have been speculating a lot that you couldn't go back and do new animated toys to do them properly because the right components for the design team just aren't there anymore. They don't work for Hasbro anymore. Well, now a very major one does work for Hasbro again. This is a very exciting development. So I'm going to go do a whole video that is just focused on Eric Siebenaler and just show you the stuff that he's responsible for in this franchise, because I really want people to appreciate a creator, because, Hasbro doesn't exactly advertise who makes what. So we're going to do it for them. Oh, so speaking of EarthSpark, so again, we have these weird little lingering clues that the series is not dead just yet. So, a German website that is known for getting this information early and being accurate with said information is actually announcing that 2 new episodes, and these could be special, these could be hour-long specials, these could be, actually it does look like they're hour-long specials judging by the timing block. But it does look like we have two long episodes of season 4, which are entitled Legacy of Hope and Hometown Heroes, which is fascinating. Like, so it's going to feel very much like a Predacons Rising situation where it's just this extra bit tacked on at the end to wrap up everything. That story left a lot of lingering plot threads and a lot of potential that they could have tapped. I'm actually really happy to see that there's still more evidence that we are getting just a little bit more of EarthSpark. According to this site, the debut date is December 5th. If I was Hasbro and actually cared about my franchises, I might have been advertising that by now. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, get moving. So there is that. See, okay, so Transformers did table over at MCM Comic-Con in London. So just a very quick rundown of like what they had in their cabinets. It's a lot of the brand new releases, of course it is. And a lot of the ones in Next Wave, you can see Amalgamus in there. You can see the upcoming Feudal Japan set for Timelines. Still looks really good. Like that Optimus is still wild to me. There you get a bit of Combiner battling. That's a really cool display. You got the prototype Grimlocks are there. Yeah, you get your upcoming Wreck-Gar. I do want to state, all the new toys that we showed today also had the official images come out this week, but I didn't want to be too redundant with the coverage. So like the Wreck-Gar, Jalopy, and all of them, they have official press photos now. So you can go take a look at those at TFW 2005 as well. But this is just, you know, I didn't want to go through it. Razor Claws there as well. Yeah, I thought that was just like a little bit too much because we're already talking about them a lot. Yeah, it's a cool spread of just like all the brand new stuff and all the upcoming stuff. But a lot of stuff we already covered today. So we'll move on to show you what the box looks like for Scareglow armor, Starscream armor Scareglow, and Optimus Prime armor He-Man. Scareglow is still a really weird pick. I still think he looks like a Spirit Halloween Exploded. He-Man is okay. These are still like a range of stupid where I wouldn't mind picking up one or two, but the asking price at Target is $32 a figure. No, absolutely not. I'm not going there. But there's tons of them. Every time I go, there's tons of them. Nobody is picking these up. I have no doubt I'll be able to grab those on clearance. Actually, Target right now has like a 25% off thing. That wouldn't be a bad way of grabbing these. At least one of them, if you were so inclined. So yeah, there is that. There is that. YOLO Park is teasing a new AMK Pro figure, which is going to be Drift. Now, which Drift? I assume this is going to be Age of Extinction Drift, given the fact that it's coated in so much blue. I'm not big on movie Drift for multiple reasons, but for fans, we do know YOLO Park makes some really good stuff, so it is good to see that that is on the way. So if you are a fan of the Drift design, you're gonna have something really, really good on the way. And we admit, like, it's one of those designs that's impossible to make a transforming toy out of. So a good action figure like this is kind of an important thing. Blockies is coming up with something as well. We have the box image for their upcoming Blockies Wheels, which is the their blind box vehicle mode toys. Actually, are these blind box? Because this is actually labeled pretty well. Okay, it is blind box because we have rarities. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the bottom up because the top side is like rare like stuff. They put all the chases at the top. All right, so Swindle, Gear, Swerve, complete with my first blaster, which is the point where I show you these are all IDW designs. Yeah, by the way, where was this movement to make an adult cartoon when IDW was a thing? I'm just saying Lost Light would make a fantastic cartoon. Megatron, Runabout, Dragstrip, Prowse. You can see they're working on Stunticons. Mirage, Hound, Scamper. Okay. And then you have a little bit rarer with Optimus Prime and Rodimus Prime. And it's fascinating to me that it's Rodimus Prime. It's IDW's Rodimus vehicle mode, but they're going to just call him full Rodimus Prime. And then in the chases, we have the rare chases, which is the Radiant Edition, which is to say his black repaint from IDW. And then we have another like a hologram edition Optimus Prime, and then Titanium Edition, which is metallic finishes. And all of the chases come with a hologram driver. So there you go. Brand new blind box set from Blockies. They do a lot of good blind box stuff. So here we go. We got a little bit more for you. And it looks like this is going to be more combiner stuff, because they've been sneaking combiners in. Funko Pop's doing more. Yay. I hate that I'm, for some reason, more inclined to like the 86 bots getting toys. I feel like since they did Blitzwing as an NFT pop, I am just like completely burned on ever giving these a chance. But they don't look bad. I will point out they're definitely going a little bit more cartoon accurate with these rather than toy. You can see that with Springer especially. The Nemesis Prime I don't think works. I don't know, like that's in that realm of like he looks a little bit. He doesn't look mean enough, but you know, it's an easy Optimus repaint. And then you have Skywarp and Thundercracker with a very like dull surprise expression on their face, which is a little bit of a letdown. This should be a little bit better than that. There's your boxes, just in case you want to see what the boxes look like. Just in case. Done so many of these Transformer ones at this point. And to wrap us up, Reese has produced a second wave of their little blind box keychain plushies. So you have the star of the wave, which is this adorable Bumblebee with little Bumblebee antenna. But you also have a Nemesis Prime, a Beast Wars Megatron, a Starscream, an Alita 1, an Ironhide, a Ratchet, a Grimlock T-Rex head, a Prowl, and then a Unicron, which is your rare chase. Just imagine just like walking around and just like a little plushie of Unicron just bobbling back and forth on your bag. Like that would actually be pretty good. This is why I hate these things being blind bag. Like I would buy that Unicron even if I ever had the chance. I'd buy that Unicron regardless of whether or not I wanted these or not. Like, because that alone is funny. But with that, we have come to the end of the news roundup. And keep in mind, this, like I said, I cut things from this news roundup. We are over half an hour in. This was a busy news week. There was a lot to talk about. So thank you for sticking around for a very long news recap. And thank you always for your viewership and your support. It means the world to me. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.